Hey guys, welcome to another live stream, and my name is Toby, as most of you know, and today we're going to be doing some more 2d6 Dungeon Level 2, carrying on with the adventures of Arundel Knox as he delves deeper into the dungeon. Yes, and we're going to have some usual rules discussion before we kick off. Let me just do a quick test on the sound as I bring up my chat. Bear with me a sec. Chat. Bear with me a sec. There we go, that sounds good. Chat. Bear with me a sec. There we go, that sounds good. Chat. Excellent. Right, got chat there. Fantastic. Okay. So, two things. Hey Brian, how you doing? Good to see you. You need to, yeah. I've got to make a note that I'm pretty sure I get that right each time, but I might not be right. Nick, how are you doing? Todd, Blue-Eyed Geek, Vincent, how are things? Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Bob. I understand, Bob. Good to see you. Good to see you. Being in and out due to work. I know it's really tricky getting the right time. I wish I could land it like 8 o'clock in the evening in America, but that's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning for me, unfortunately. So it is a shame. At least we can watch the vlogs back. So we've got some. We don't have a full rules update today, unfortunately. But we do have, bear with me. Yep. No, I don't I don't want to do 3 o'clock. That would be. Let me just print something else out here while I remember, just while we get started. Where is it? What did I put it on? Oh, yes. There's a couple of things that I want to run past everybody before we start, and seeing some of you guys are here. No, it's not on that document. I'll be back. 1 minute. Where is it? Just looking for something I needed to print. I'm so prepared. Pro streamer. Aha. Print. 9. Okay. Right, yeah. So there's so I've been mulling over people's feedback and some great comments. And I've been making some adjustments to the core rules, and I have done lots of little changes, but also there's a couple of key rules that I wanted to go over before we start. Salem Obigone here and working as well. Yes, thanks for being here, Todd. I know. I'm sure Nick's probably working as well. Right. Okay, so let's have a look. So there are two key areas that I'm introducing into the game. From feedback, Michael, hey Toby, my first stream live, I finally caught up. Excellent. Glad to have you here, Michael. There are two key rules. So So I'm working on the tables for level 3. They are nearly done, and that means that the tables for level 4 are nearly done as well, because the odd numbered levels, so 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, all have a lot more work involved. They kind of lay down a kind of vibe that is then a continuity for those 2 levels, so 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And so the crypt levels are similar, and crypt level 4 will use some of level 3. But as part of this, I think I have put in runes, and I wanted to run over some of these runes, and that I have named these runes after some of you guys. Now, this is obviously going to be difficult because there's 12 runes, and there's a lot more people that have kind of given me feedback. But I've picked a few names that stood out, and I wanted to go through some of what they are. Have a look at some of those. Turtle Go, how are you doing, my friend? And then we have potion bombs, and I'm going to read the page. I printed the one page for that. I'm going to read through that quickly, and once that is done, so that can sort of be settled in your mind. You can kind of see some of the response to some of the feedback, also how the playthroughs and how the combat simulations have informed me of needing to implement some agency. And I've talked about this before. We've had a few people who have been particularly hot on it, and I think it's going to be a fun thing to have. So I've created that avenue, and hopefully that is good enough. Now I'm finding, like, Brian, I think Brian springs to mind. Some of the levels that he's been doing just seem to fit exactly with how I need it to be. And then some people are having a few more difficulties in the sense what they're coming up against. So we'll see. We'll see how this affects the balance. So runes. Now, we've talked about runes before. You can inscribe runes on weapons. There are, at the back of the current rule set, there is the engraver section. Now, I've added just a little bit more to that. That it's going to be 10 gold coins to have a rune engraved on a weapon. So there is an expense. You can have 1 rune engraved every time you go back to the town. So, that could be, you could be looking at, 9, 10 runes ultimately as you work your way through the levels, each time increasing the power of your weapon or your throwing weapons. So the runes that I'm kind of running past, and I wanted to check with you guys whether it was okay that I use some of your names in these things. Now, if it isn't, then you can always just tell me, and I will send me an email and I will change it. So I've taken liberties. I haven't published it yet, but this is kind of like the alert I wanted to tell people about before it goes, but before I push it out there into the collector sphere. Okay, so going to quickly run through them. Moya's Pyro Rune, throwing weapon. So some of these are throwing weapons, some of them are the melee weapons. When you throw this and successfully hit the target, it explodes into flames, causing 5d6 damage to the target. This weapon cannot be recovered if exploded. So if that actually hurt, I've no issues. Rather flattered, really. Lol. Good. I would just assume that people will, if there is an issue, just email me. You don't have to mention it now. Sutherland's Focus Rune. Melee weapon. When you roll a primary 6 on a combat roll before shifting, you get +1 shift for the next round of combat as the rune focuses your mind. Bell's Sonic Rune. Bell's Sonic Rune. Melee weapon or melee weapon. Once per combat, you can use one of the weapon's maneuver dice sets as armor as you send out a sonic blast deflecting the blow. This is used after the attacker has rolled. Okay. Incidentally, thanks, Bob. What was I going to say? Yes, one thing that I wanted to say. I've added a little paragraph in the runes section where where I talk a little bit about the history of runes. So runes were founded by one person, hence the names. They managed to craft the rune and imbue it with power and then transfer that to stone or metal. And so as time passes, people get to know them as, say, Moya's Pyro rune. Because Moya was the blacksmith or the magic user who created it initially. So they're kind of owned, if you like, by those people, hence you guys, who've helped craft this game. We've got, and if your name isn't here, then there's every chance that we will have additional stuff using names of people who have contributed a lot to the project. This isn't wine, by the way. It's a non-alcoholic cocktail. Peach cocktail. My wife's choice. Shroud's Curse rune. Melee weapon. If you hit with your weapon and do 5 or more damage, the enemy is cursed for that combat. They become dizzy and struggle to land a hit precisely. When defending against a hit by successful maneuver from a cursed creature, you may swap around your armor's primary and secondary die. So, sort of incorporating some of the bits and pieces that people have suggested. You know, I've had at least 10 people say to me, "Can you not swap around your primary and secondary?" And I've always had that tucked away in the back of my brain, and it's kind of coming through here. Yip's Returning Rune. Throwing weapons. When engraved on the throwing weapon, it returns to the adventurer's hand if it causes damage on that target and can be thrown again in the same combat, giving 1 extra attack. You can only do this once per combat. Yes, you're right. That is a good spot there. There were bound to be mistakes in here, so this is kind of the first iteration. Good call though. Oh, I need my pencil. Hang on. So you'll see some of these runes are very powerful, and so you can probably figure that they're pretty rare. And the rate at which I've introduced them is in an attempt to not make the character too OP, but I'm hoping by the time you say reach 5 or 6 level, then you've got maybe 2 or 3 runes, maybe 2 on your weapon, maybe 1 on a throwing weapon. So that's the aim. Can be thrown again in the same combat, giving 1 extra attack. So we've done that one. Moore's Aura rune. So obviously we have 2 Moors in the chat. So this is a double whammy. When the adventurer takes damage in combat, they can heal 1 HP as the rune gives off a healing aura in response to the wielder's pain. Okay, so it's kind of throbs and heals 1 point. Charging Buck. Just started my first dungeon, having a blast. Keep up the good work, Toby. Thank you, Charging Buck. What a great name you've got there. Rune 2. I need to put the bit here. Rights Word rune. Melee combat. A word is engraved below the rune. When spoken during combat, a blast of wind pushes the enemy back, giving the adventurer a chance to either throw a weapon or drink a potion without losing a round. The combat then continues on. This can be used once per combat. There could be a few little things in here. Marshall's hey Scott. Right, Scott, I'm just going over some rules here. Just going over some rules. because I haven't released a new set, but we've got a couple of things that are coming in that are going to give some more agency. It's come after quite a bit of feedback from people from the combat play testing, which has been awesome. Everybody who's contributed to that has really helped me sort of see with some clarity how I can maybe quicken some of these more intense combats. And this stuff, these are runes that get engraved onto your weapon. Marshall's Biting Rune. Throwing weapon. When a throwing weapon with this rune hits an enemy, it does normal damage plus an electric shock for 2d6. The weapon is subject to normal throwing rules otherwise. If recovered, it can be used again with the same effect. So the throwing weapon runes, you can lose these. So that would be that it would be a pain, but unfortunately there is a certain jeopardy involved with having runes on your throwing weapons. Kirby's Balance Rune, melee weapon. This makes the weapon slightly more honed and balanced. Add 1 damage to 1 maneuver. This is transferable if the maneuver is ever swapped out. Yes. Incidentally, if I'm using Scott, I'm kind of using names of people who have contributed quite a lot for the naming of the runes in the game. So if you recognise anything going on here. Vortax Influence Rune. Melee weapon. A surge of power can be channeled through the rune to cause an extra d6 damage on one successfully executed maneuver. This can be used once per combat. Kimmeler's Screen Rune. An aura extends around the wielder of this weapon. If successfully hit by any magical attack, deduct an additional point of damage. And Potes, and probably, if I said that wrong, I do. Pots or Potes. Rebound Rune. Throwing weapon. A throwing weapon engraved with this rune hits twice. And on the second hit, the creature's interrupt stats do not affect the damage roll. If recovered, it can be used again with the same effect. There you go. Okay, so that has been part of the 5,000 words for the level 3 tables. So those will be in the next test document, and which one? Pote or pot? If we say pote is the first one, or poot, is it poot? Is it number 1 pote, number 2 poot, or number 3 pot? Okay. So we have also got pote like goat. Okay, pote. There you go. I thought it was. Right. Yes, the potty rune. No potty humour here, thank you. So, potion bombs. Throughout your journey, you will gather items, and many of these will be useful to create potion bombs. Potion bombs are projectiles that can be thrown during combat in your round before your opponent strikes. There is no penalty, so throwing a potion bomb does not stop you from attacking or quaffing a normal potion in the same round. Potion bombs are quickly released in close combat, having been readied and placed in a reachable location. You cannot make potion bombs during combat. For Braffislaz 1995, hello, so excited to play, and my printer just decided to die. I'm gonna start tomorrow. Oh dear. RIP your computer. Hope you get that sorted. Maybe if you've got a tablet you can flip through that. For a potion bomb, you will need an empty potion bottle or vial. These can be kept when using up a potion or found in the dungeon. They have a stopper or lid and can contain liquid. Into these, using inventive usage, you add the correct ingredients and then use your wax sealing kit, which is a new piece of kit, which is you start with. You seal the concoction. You carve a magical rune into the wax, which triggers the magic, leaving the potion bomb pressurized and ready to explode when thrown. You have been taught the formulas by the Zegor priests in preparation to rid the region of the subterranean scourge. The ingredients for the different types of potion bomb are listed below. Once created, a potion bomb is stored in a potion slot in your pack and counts towards your potion limit. Empty potion bottles, phials and vials can be stored in your pack. These do not take up slots in your potion quota, for they are less fragile and lighter. Okay, right. So these are the 5 types of potion that we can use, and I'm going to use this today. I'm going to try and come up with some concoctions and see if we can implement this into the game and see how it works. With Arundel Knox and his adventures. Right. So here are the 5 types. So you've got smoke screen, and that involves you need water, spores, mushrooms or fungi, ash, and ilias petals. Smoke erupts on impact. The enemy cannot use any movement-based interrupt for the round in which the smoke bomb is used. Flash vial. Oh yeah. Good spot. Don't. This will. This is being going. This. I've got someone going over this, so we'll pick these up. But the good spot anyway. Smoke erupts. The enemy cannot use them. Yeah. Anyway, done it. Flash vial. 1 water, 2 coal or charcoal, 3 a feather, 4 dankoma stems. A bright light flashes. The enemy is blinded for the round in which the flash vial is used and cannot attack. Okay. Dark shell. Water, ink or writing on parchment, charcoal, crushed insect, scarlet or evatus leaves. A black void erupts on impact, sucking the life force as it shrinks away. The target loses 2 HP per level. Shrapnel burst. 1 water, 2 teeth and fangs, 3 splinters of wood, thread 5 and zumorus leaves. On impact, shrapnel explodes at the enemy, causing 2d6 damage. Flame jar. Oh, have I done the scarlet again? It's double T. Double T. That's how you spell it, isn't it? Don't start me down the old scarlet route, Nick. Flame jar. 1 water, coal or charcoal, patch of hemp, crushed bone, cathoto spines. On impact, flames burst free and engulf the enemy, causing 3d6 damage. The colour is not double T. Oh. Well, what is 1T then? Oh, there's so many little intricacies on there. Anyway, I'm sure I made a decision on that, but I've completely deleted it from my memory. That could be what it is, because sometimes I look it up and it comes up with UK channels and it gives me the UK spelling, and I tend to, because everything else is like that. Scarlet is a woman's name. Okay. Well then, if that is the case, it needs to be 1T, and I need to do that across the whole range of things. If that is done already, I may have done that already, as far as I can remember. That's just one little thing, and a mire of words and rules that are swamping my brain. Okay. So we're going to use that today. That is an important thing to have there. Just so I can check. Because one of the first things I want to do is have a look and see if I can make any potions. And so we're going to do that. So there's the main... It would seem being in the apothecary's lab would be a good place to be making potion bombs. All the equipment being there, and that is true. But we are dealing with the dungeon denizen, and they aren't exactly organised. And the apothecary's lab in the dungeon may just be a dump, where it's just full of pond water for all we know. Okay, right. So, Arundel Knox. We had a close encounter last time, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. I think I get the scarlet thing. Now listen, can I just say something? I will probably forget that, so don't be too angry with me, everybody. That sort of piece of information is secondary when it comes to finalising the rule set. So I'll try my hardest, as I do. The thing is, you guys are all so smart when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, that's not my number one skill. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bad at it, but I'm not an editor, if you like. Right, so, but I am, thankfully, I've got you lovely guys. I'll keep sending it. Did I not? That must just be that one then. All the others must be changed, Nick. All the others must be changed. Let's have a look in here. Okay. Oh. We're not going to look in there. They're all double T's. Okay. Right. So if you remember, Arundel Knox did the first level. Oh, hang on. Let me just bring something up here. Arundel Knox did the first level very successfully. I was very pleased with how that went. And then we had this level, and it was getting a little bit out of hand. We got to this point here. We'd beat the barrack knight had dealt us a lot of damage. And we got back the rat, and we fought some people here. And we found a dark chamber, and all. And at this point, we only had Arundel Knox only had two health points, and so I'm thinking kind of like, oh dear, back in a bit, 3:30 a.m. here, need some coffee. Oh my God, Scott, that is so early. Oh my word. Yes, I know. Well, you should have told me before, Nick. So I thought we could have died at that point, but we had this little corridor up here, and we were able to escape and go to town, and we spent some money, and actually we got some good armor, which was fantastic. And I'm gonna buff the armor a little bit. The cheaper armor needs to be buffed a bit more, because it's really good value. So not buff, I mean nerf. What am I saying? Nerf the armor. It's just a bit too good, I think. After all this time, I think I've got to that point where it definitely needs to be reducing it by less damage. Okay, and we picked up a potion of healing, a potion of consistency, and we got a scroll we picked up early on. So we're in a good position. We're kind of approaching this door here. Now this door is unlocked at the top here. Can you see that? All right, it's not too bright. There we go. And so we're going to go through here into the rest of the dungeon. Now, excitingly, we're going to have the level 3 ready for next week. So I will be able to carry this on if we finish this level, which isn't guaranteed because it can take a while with questions and me just showing the rules off a little bit. Charging buck. I couldn't find it in the rules, but are you able to backtrack and take a different route if you haven't encountered a locked door or dead end? You are. The only thing about that is... and the rules are designed so that you clear your path as you go, so you can backtrack. You're not going to be encountering any monsters, but if you are bloodied or soaked, you have to count the rooms you go back through and tick them off on the chart. So if you were up here and you were soaked, you wanted to go back through this room over here, you would have to count 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms and tick 4 ticks on the chart. Now, if you could backtrack to a fireplace that you saw earlier on, you can do that and then dry yourself off. But you may well have gained a few ticks as you did it, and you might have taken you to the point where it was getting serious, and you were starting to lose some health points. But yes, you can, and there's been quite a bit of discussion about that. But I'm trying to maintain the forward momentum with the game, and you deal with the rooms as you experience them, and then it keeps it less complicated. So it's kind of moving it forward. No problem, charging ball. Okay, so we are going to roll the first dice. Let's see what we've got here. We've got the tables over here. And let's move that away here. So we are going... Let's do this. So we've got this room up here. 4-1. It's a corridor. So let's move it along here. So I have been doing some corridor clarification. 1, 2, 3, 4. Along that way. I love it when you get a corridor. Now, we're going to roll to see how many exits it has. All the exits are archways. And exit squares... you can, as far as the exit squares go, Bob, you can use the exit that's there already as one of those exits. So if we get one exit, that'll be the exit at the end. If we get 2 exits, there'll probably be one down here because there's no room up above. So, and then you add the exit square onto the angle there. Right, so how many? So we have 1 exit. So that means we're just going to carry on up this way. And we come to a 5-5. So that's a double. We roll again. 5-5. So we have a 5. We have an 8 by 10 room. So that is a big room. One of the biggest rooms you can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it up to the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. What about if you have to backtrack? Roll a d6 for each explored room. 1 to 3 encounter around the patrol. 2 to 4 the room is clear. Now, I have thought about that, Vincent, but considering the amount of rooms you backtrack, you would end up fighting a lot of people, and that would then bog you down back in the rooms that you'd already been through. And I really don't want that. I just want to keep moving forward. Got to remember, there are 10 levels in this dungeon. Now, something like that could be applied to a lair, for example. So if the sunken swamp, it may be something like that. Something comes in. So if you have to backtrack, then that might be the case. I'm not to say those all won't count, but for the dungeon, it's a kind of solid pushing forward. And then we've got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's just... hopefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Yeah. Nick, that's a nice idea. Rats instead of patrols. There are definite possibilities. It's something that actually I might even put that in the increasing the difficulty section. I'm just making a little note of that. So you could have that as an additional rule. There's a couple of other rules in here for increasing the difficulty when you backtrack. One that, increasing the difficulty full stop. Where is it? So one affects your armor. Increasing difficulty armor checks, so you can be damaged, and then outnumbered. We've got a little shift variance going on there with that particular, but that might fit nicely into that section. So I've made a note of that extra rule as an option. It just sort of made me think that maybe that might fit in there. Okay, let's have a look. How many exits does this room have? 1 exit. Okay, so we're going to roll to see the placement. 4. So that'd be 2, 3, 4. So it's down here. We'll put it over here. This is a large room. So we're going to need to find the large rooms chart in here. I think it's the first large room, level 2 large rooms. Here we go. 2d6, 8. Sparring chamber. Probably the worst. I don't know whether that is the worst. Sparring chamber. This is a training room where there is a circle of sand in which a mercenary and a guard are sparring. They turn and attack. If you survive, roll on BT2 plus 2. Right. Let me have a little look here. We'll come to that one in a sec. Right, let's just add a little bit of detail here. Let's put the circle. It's a large sparring circle of sand in the middle here. I might put like a pole over here where they're fighting. You know, one of those things with bits sticking out. Maybe there's a fallen axe over here. Put that in like that. Oh, that's a big axe. Well, and then we've got some other bits and pieces around here. Nice. Sparring chamber. I'm going to write that here. And then we have our first combat. Now, there is some sand here. So I've got to remember, I want to try and remember to use inventive usage. That's something that we have to train our brain to do. From that description, I can definitely get some sand. Now, sand is one of the items that Gracada likes as sacrifice. So we'll get some of that afterwards if we survive. Mercenary. This is going to be tricky. I was thinking about traps the other day after getting slapped around by them frequently. Maybe a d6 roll equals to less than precision or discipline to spot, avoid outside of having. Yes, I know. Yeah. Definitely something to think about. Definitely something to think about, Todd. That is in my mind. So, yes, I'm kind of mulling that one over. I hear what you're saying, though. Traps. Avoidance. Some of them you can avoid. But there is a certain amount of being beaten around when you're in the dungeon, I feel. Right. Got my dice. Let's get the mercenary. And I will have a quick look at what I've got at hand as well before we go into battle. Mercenary. I feel like I'm preparing here. Oh, he's a level 2. We are on level 2 because I'm looking at level 3, level 4 creatures as well. So we've got a mercenary. One thing that we are going to find as we go deeper, there's less people around. Okay, so there's going to be less creature combats. So we're looking at tougher monsters, individual fights, maybe go through 3 rooms, 4 rooms, not find a creature, and then you find a beast, you know, something that you have to take on as you get deeper into the dungeon. So there's the monster levels, definitely will be like that. So it's a different feel, and the crypt is a different feel as well. You'll see when you start to explore that. And it was a guard, so we've got a level 1 opponent here. Here we go. Those 2 there. Okay, so the guard is +1. Sorry, it is 7. And oh no, excuse me, 15 for that guy. Dear oh dear. Pay attention. Where's my rubber gun? Looks like one of the kids nicked my rubber. All right, making a mess. Right, so the mercenary is 15 and the guard is 7. Both pretty nifty. People is such a seductive term when discussing dungeon dwellers. Subjective term. Seductive. Subjective. It's seductive as well. Imagine fighting a demon duck on level 5 or something. Could be cool. Haha. I don't know how many demon ducks there are going to be, but they're definitely going to be demon-like creatures as we go deeper into the dungeon. Right, going to put that like that, and then we're going to have Arundel here. Here we go. So he's got a potion of healing. We have an explosive, 2 explosive marbles. So I'm looking at this fight and I'm thinking, yes, this is probably quite. So what I'm going to do is, in that window at the beginning, I'm going to throw one of the explosive marbles. So I peer in, see them fighting, pull out the little pouch with the explosive marbles, grab one out. The Vorpal Kitty wants your Skittles. I pull out the explosive marble and I chuck it in at the mercenary. Okay? And it kind of in front of the mercenary. And I'm going to roll 2d6 damage. Okay? +3. So I've got that here on my items list. Here we go. We have got 6 + 3. It's 9 damage. Right, so the mercenary is reduced to 6 points, and I will cross off one of those marbles there. We now have 1 marble. Very handy. Let's continue the combat. Right, round 1. Remember, my set is here. Okay. 6/6. Double 6. Prime attack. So let's not forget, we did clarify interrupts don't affect prime attacks, and you get to add your shift. Now, obviously, if we were later in the round, it would be higher. and we would have a more impactful strike. But I'm going to do a drubbing. That's d6 plus 1 plus 2, the shift, because you had the shift for the prime attack. And that is going to be, hopefully, let's have a look. What do we got? 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 7 plus 8, which means the mercenary is destroyed. He goes down to -2, and we are left with the guard. Now, let's not forget, we have, what, in this situation, we have another benefit here. This is fearful momentum. Just to clarify, if you kill a creature in the first round of combat when fighting multiple creatures, you gain momentum that strikes fear into your next opponent. For round 2 of the combat only, gain +2 shift as the remaining enemy cowers or hesitates, and you are taken by a wild sudden frenzy. Awesome. So, I get +2 on my next attack. He does get to attack, but he's kind of cowering away as he does it. Kind of prods at me. Here we go. What's this guy going to do? He gets a 2/4. The guard cannot shift to that. So 2/4. He's got 5/3 and a 6/2. No good. My turn. I get +2 shift because of fearful momentum, and oh my god. Oh my lord. So, what are the chances? I bet not many of you done that. So that's a primary attack and then a mishap attack. I cannot believe this first combat. What on earth is happening? So, let's just read the ruling here, just to clarify things a little bit. So, if you roll a double 1 for your attack roll, you always miss. If you roll a double 6 for your attack roll, you always perform a prime attack. Wow, what are the odds, lol? Yeah, don't you just love dice? Yes, you do. So I miss. So the guy, it can have my skittles. Hi Dave, how you doing? It just needs to stay away from my Maltesers. Had that happened in my testing, foe got 2 mishaps in a row. Yeah. Ah, I see. Well, I mean, I just had a prime and then a mishap. So, I mean, it's like bonkers. But you can imagine the situation. You're in the room. You do this, like, fearful... You destroy the mercenary. One massive cleave or swing of the heavy mace. And he's crumpled to the ground. The other guy cowers. I go in for the attack. But then I just trip and fall flat on my face. Bang! And the other guy gets up. He's rejuvenated. The dice gods have just abandoned you whilst laughing gleefully. Dave, you are so right. You are so right. There was a gleeful laughter there. Right, so that was round 2. The guard is now attacking. We have 2/6. 2/6. 2/6. Nope. Cannot shift to that. Round 3. Let's do this. 4/7. I 4/3. That is an exact strike. Okay, so that is a pummel exact strike, which is wonderful. And with exact strikes, just show you here. Combat sequence. Shifting the dice. Exact strike. This demonstrates your prowess and skill, and as a result does more damage. You may add your shift points to the damage total, including fatigue die shift adjustments, if in play. Creatures do not do this. There you go. Redemption hit, indeed. Vincent comes in with the truth. So, get to add my shift to the damage, so that makes it a d6 damage. Now, this is a 4-3. What is blocks on secondary 3s? -1 damage. So it's just plus. So it's still. So it's actually -1 rather than just d6. So d6 -1. That is a 2, and that does 1 point of damage to the guard, who manages to get the shield up a bit to block that vicious attack. Awesome. So the guard attacks 4-5. Are we talking near? Not close enough for the guard. Round 4, and we get our first +1 to the shift here. Yeah, I did. I added the +2. The damage was damage -2, so that would have made it d6. But then they had the shield, which added which took 1 damage away, so it's d6 -1. 6-4. So that is a drubbing exact strike for my man Arundel. He also gets the +1 on the shift, the fatigue die, and then the shift +2 there. So that is going to be d6 plus 4. d6 plus 4 for the exact strike. Let's see what we get. 5, 9 damage. I lop the guard's head off. Plonk on the floor. And we've killed the mercenary and the guard. Now, I have to say, that combat was quite something. That is the most extreme combat sequence I think I've rolled. So we had from my point of view, we had a prime, a mishap, an exact strike for the pummel, and an exact strike for the drubbing. Wow, that was pretty. And I'd already thrown the explosive marble in at the beginning. That was quite something. We will roll for. Let's write down the experience. So we have got 45, 55, 58 experience added to 500 and so that is, so mathematicians out there, 587 plus 58. So one of you tells me what that is. I will write it in the XP column. Thank you very much. So we're rolling on the pouch tables for loot here. Let's go to the loot table and pouch. So we'll do the mercenary first. They are rolling on pouch table 2 plus 1. So that is 7, 8. Tucked inside is a lockpick plus 2 with 2 uses. 645. There we go. Awesome. Thank you, Nick. So, we got a lockpick and some Malaco leaves there. Brilliant. So, what we will do is I'm going to eat the Malaco leaves now, which will heal 3. Let me just check the ruling on the herbs there. Let me just check something. Malaco leaves. Did we decide that you get 3 doses, or are we rolling d6? Herbal remedies. If you find the right combination of herbs, you go ahead and make d3 doses. Right, so let's do it. So I think this is how we decided it in the end. You roll this is how many doses? 6, so 3 doses. I'm going to chew that all now while I'm searching through this stuff. Chew, chew, chew. Takes me back up to 28 hit points. I will discard. In fact, I will use. I've got Malaco leaves in there because I wanted to have a look at the potions after we've done this space. So we'll leave that there for a second. We've got the lockpick. I'm going to write that on here. Move that out of the way there. We've got the lockpick. I haven't had. I've got lockpicks here. Excellent. So we will. It's the same one actually. Must have rolled the same one. So we've got ×2 on the lockpick. So that's good. If I'm facing any locked doors now, I should be relatively okay. I'll just have a few chances to try and pick some locks. Right. So we also have another roll for the guard. The guard was pouch table 1 -1. Okay, let's do this. 4. There's nothing in the pouch. It is empty. I'll take the pouch. I've got 5 pouches in there. The stuff. Oh, I'm also going to, using inventive usage, I'm going to fill one of these pouches up with sand, because that actually could be quite handy. Pouch of sand. Can use it as an offering and for swapping out golden idols with this bag of sand. I don't know where I got that idea from. Okay. So let's just check. Also, I've got to check the room. So let's go back to the large room, because there's a couple of things we just need to confirm with that. Here we are. So it was the sparring chamber. All the exits are wooden doors. So we're going to put a wooden door in down here, like so. And it says we're on BT2 + 2. So let's just check. Have we got that one in here? BT2 + 2. I don't know whether that is a anomaly or I've written the wrong one in. Oh, here we go. No, bag. It's a bag table. BT2. Okay, so there's a sack in the corner. We're going to roll on that. Damn it! Snake eyes. You turn the bag upside down and a mound of seed pours out. Or was it a plus? Did we have a plus? I think we had a plus on there, didn't we? I think it was +2. Yes, +2. Okay. Inside the bag are 3 broken and twisted metal armor sections. These are large items. So I'm gonna take that metal armor section, broken. I'm gonna take 3 of those. Just put that like that for the minute. You can use any dimensions you want for a dungeon level. You just need a minimum of 2020 for the campaign. Exactly. A lot of folks use whatever works for their sheet, like 25 × 20. Exactly. You know, I think once we've got all the levels, we're going to see people go 20 by 20 through all the levels. We get the layers, the layer expansions. They're going to be slightly bigger maps as a base size. But if you just love exploring the dungeon, you can obviously make it bigger and you'll find more rooms. It will take you longer and you can just keep going with the campaign. It's like having it's like having an RPG campaign running. You can come back to and do, say, 3 or 4 rooms. It doesn't matter if you're not in a hurry. You know, it's kind of ideally set up for that. And it's easy to pick back up. And of course, you know, if you're keeping your narrative moments as well, you can recap on those and kind of refresh yourself. So I'm going to put in here, in the sparring, entered a sparring chamber through an explosive marble, then cleaved a mercenary in 2. Following this, I'm putting I here. We know it's Arundel. Did a prime, then a mishap, and again a prime to dispatch a guard. It's just little moments like that, and you kind of look back and think, you know, that was a real little narrative moment. Love those. I love memories like that. Right, okay, so interesting here. We're going back to the room now. We've kind of rolled on a few tables, dispatched those guys. We've got some sand. We've got some inventive uses. Right, let's have a little think. Now, I want to have a quick look at these potions. Now, I don't have a vial. I've got a vial of black ink. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Something got up my nose then. Okay. So, I've got a vial of black ink here. Have I got any... I'm going to say that I kept one of the potion bottles from before. Alright. So, just so we can try and see if this works. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I'm largely better from the COVID or the flu, whatever I had before. Still a little bit lingers. Blimey. But... especially when, you know, if you're talking for a while. So what I'm going to do, because the potion bombs are new, I want to see if we can, if I've got to this point in the level, and admittedly, thinking back, I don't usually watch these back, but thinking back to the streams, I kind of get caught up with stuff, and that's fine, and that's just my style of play. I like to sort of get carried away with stuff. But I am kind of aware that I could have collected more things as I went through the dungeon. Encountering things, I could have taken some wood or gathered some coal or some ash maybe, and I haven't done that. So, but I'm going to try and do that more as we move through the dungeon. But I'm going to have a look at what I've got here and see whether there's any way that I can create one of these potions. So, first things first, there is no water here, which is a pain. You need water to make potions. If we look back here, no, there's no water. So we're going to have to put that on hold. But I want to see about the other ingredients. Spores. Now, did we collect... because this is probably a good thing to do, right? Is to check your stuff and look at the list, and so bear in mind the things that you need to pick up. So I have got Zamorous leaves, which is used in the shrapnel burst. Now I've also got some fangs. I've got some wood shavings, Zamorous leaves. Would shavings be considered to be splinters of wood? Probably not. I've got a wooden cross. I could crush up the wooden cross. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to crush up the wooden cross here. So we'll get rid of that there. So I'm going to put a little thing down here. Maybe this is how this could evolve. So I've got wooden splinters. Just take a minute in this training area. Wooden splinters in the potion bottle. So wooden splinters, fangs. Going to cross off the cross there. Thread. Have I got thread? I've got a pouch. I don't see why I can't dismantle one of the pouches and create some thread through that way. So I'm going to do that. So we'll cross off one of the pouches at the top there. Additional notes box would be ideal for this. Exactly. So this is it might be something like concoctions, or I will add this in. So I've dismantled one of the pouches, took that apart. And you can imagine me like kind of putting the fangs into the glass with the wooden splinters, with the thread, and the Zamora's leaves. So I'm going to put those down here. And the next minute we come to a place where there's water, you can split some rope as it's made from many threads. Good point. Good point. That is a good idea. Have I got rope in here? I do have a cord of rope at the top here. You're right. Anyway, that is all ready to create the shrapnel burst potion bomb. I've put that to one side in my bag, ready to Lars. So now with the dismantled pouch, you have a patch of leather. Oh, I like that. That is a good thought. Patch of leather. Excellent. I'll put that in there. I like that idea. Good thinking, Lars. Okay, so that is now on the list. And that is ready. Now, just to have a little look here. Bag of tea leaves. Wooden shavings, just having a little look. Spores. Usually it's kind of led by having... Now you could argue, could I make 2 out of these things? Well, the Zamora's leaves, you'd have to have more than 1 Zamora's leaves, and I do have 2 of those. But the fangs, I don't have more of. The fangs would only suffice for 1 potion in my own estimations as I'm playing the game, fairly in my mind. So it's like I've got enough for 1 shrapnel burst potion bomb once we find some water. Right, people remind me when we come across some water if we do. All right, cool. Let's move on. A little bit of crafty stuff going on there. So we're going down to this room here. So it'd be nice if it kind of connected up to this exit from the spiked chamber. Let's have a look. Ooh, 5 by 3, not quite. Let's go 5 across. We could go 5 by 3 to kind of fit it into there. Yeah, by 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Like so. Just put a little bit of shading in there. Okay. Right, so how many exits does this room have? Ooh, it has 2 exits. So we could have exits on that side, and that side. Let's divide this up. Where does it start? Is it 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So we have got an exit on this side. And then an exit on this side. And I'm kind of rather inclined to have it there. And have like a link up this room here. That would be very cool. Now, what type of room it is? Let's have a look. Level 2 rooms. Here we go. Level 2 ancestry. And let's have a little look here. 33. Which gives us loot lockup. Ooh. Right, let's put that in here. Loot lockup. All right. So, this loot lockup is bars and a locked gate section off a corner room. Inside you see 2 chests. All right, let's just put a corner here. All right, this could work out perfectly. So 2 chests, because as it happens, I did just pick up some lock picks. Right. This could be working out nicely. The gate has a lock +1. If you succeed, roll on C1 and C2, then on L2 TR afterwards. Okay. So, when I mentioned above using dungeon scenery for the loot lockup, I'll do some chests in 28 millimeters. Dave, did I miss something then? Did I miss something? Because that sounds pretty damn cool, Dave. Send some pictures to the Facebook group. If I miss anything on the chat there, I apologise. Right. Right, so there is a trap in this room. So let's see if we can pick the lock first. Okay, so we've got, these are locks +1. Now I have got a lockpick here, which is, I've got a lockpick +2 with 2 in the brackets. And I've got 2 of those. So I can use this twice. And we haven't picked any locks live on screen yet. So let's just get the rules up. Just to confirm, if you just to go over in the wording I use. Okay. I've changed this header as well to locks and lock picks. Although actually, maybe no, it needs to be locked doors. Sorry, you just see me thinking out loud then. Alright, so to pick this lock you will need to roll higher than or equal to. Right, so if you come against a locked door or box, so this is the locked door for the for this area where they've got a loot lockup. What have we got here? You really have 4 total, right? You really have 4 total since you recently found some more. Yeah, I've got 2 lockpicks. Each of those lockpicks I can use twice, and each lockpick is a +2 lockpick, which means it's a decent lockpick. And Dave says also, I said on a previous video chat on day of the Kickstarter. Oh right, okay, yes, about using Dungeon Saga scenery and miniatures for role playing as my map. Well, that sounds flipping amazing. And when I play it, I will take photos and put on the Facebook page. Brilliant. That's going to be cool. Well, I says, okay, I got it. Right, good. We are in there. So let's do this. So you can try and pick the lock if you have a set of lock picks. Roll 2d6 for the lock and write this number next to the door or box on the map. This represents the quality of the lock. Some locks have a modifier number next to them. This modifier is applied to the lock quality roll. So we need to see what quality this lock is. So it's a +1. We know it's on the room. It says +1 lock. So let's see the quality of the lock. So it's a 5, 6, 7, 8 quality lock on the door here. I'm going to make this the door there and put an 8 next to it. All right, and so this is a quality lock. To pick this lock, you'll need to roll higher than or equal to this number on 2d6. You can only get 1 roll, and you apply your precision modifier to the roll. Lock pits can be found in dungeons, but right. So we roll this, add my precision, which is, and that doesn't look right. Did I not up my precision? Hang on a minute here. Go into the rulebook. This is the rulebook. So level 3 precision. Oh, it is no +1. Okay, so I get a +3 to this roll. So I have to roll higher than or equal to this number. So I've got to roll with a +3 on here. Okay. I've got to roll. Was it 8? 8 or higher. Oh. So I get the lockpick, and I slide it into the lock, and I go to turn it, and it just snaps immediately. Just totally terrible, that lockpick. So that's one down. So that is now down to one use. Let's try again. So I turn over the metal and pull out another piece of metal, and I'm going in again. 8. This time, the sweat is kind of dripping down my face as I'm in the lock, and I turn it, and it opens. 8. That is what we needed. Brilliant. No, you can basically, if you look at, so basically with the lockpicks, each lockpick has a bracket next to it. Okay, and that is the number of uses you can do. Yes, so that's the one roll. So that's a bit misleading. So this one roll here is for that attempt on the lockpick. Okay, so I need to change that. I need to clarify that. So that is, you can't use the same lockpick and just keep doing it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the thinking behind it. So if they had a lockpick, you can't just keep using that same lockpick. You get so many tries based on the number in the brackets with the lockpick description. So it would be lockpick plus 2, 1 in the bracket, and you get 1 try. Okay, so you can keep trying because you can just basically bust through all your lockpicks if you've got that many lockpicks. I have 2 lockpicks, which I guess, I don't know, that could be unusual. Anyway, second time around. Yes, depending on how many uses it's got. So hopefully that clarifies it. But Bob, you're right. Like a hawk, you swooped in there. Good spot, but that I shall clarify that. And the rules. Okay, good. Lockpick roll. Clarify. Yeah, I've got my little notes over that side. Yeah, lockpick is a per use, so that wording was very confusing. Yes, that's I totally agree, and it will be remedied. So okay, we are now through to the chests, but it's not that simple here, because actually there is a trap in this particular device. I'm gonna search the chest first, as it describes in the room, but then I face a trap afterwards, so we'll see what happens with that situation. Okay, so we have got a where is it here? So we've got the loot lockup. Just check the, there we go, 33. It's C1, CT1 and CT2, so that's both the chests. I'm not doing too well. Could do with some more loot, and hopefully this will result in that. Okay, there's no pluses or minuses, it's just straight roll. First one, here we go. This one over here, 7. The chest contains a clutter of medical objects, including 2 bandages. Excellent. Let's put that down on our 2 bandages. A potion of healing. Putting that down over here. That's good. Plus 10 HP. And a throwing dart. So that is also another interesting thing we can use in a combat. So throwing darts are part of the last rule set update. So at the beginning of a combat, you can now throw a throwing dart, throwing axe, or a throwing knife, and they will do a certain amount of damage. And we'll try that out, which is excellent. We'll give that a go on live on camera. Right, so there's that one, and then chest 2. Let's have a little look here. 7. The chest is full of folded uniforms. At the bottom is a piece of armour. Roll on art 1. Ooh, let's have a look at this. This could be interesting. Right, just while we're thinking about it, I'm going to take some thread and from the uniform there. So I'm going to get it out, just pull off some thread, roll it up and put it in a ball of thread. That's the inventive usage part. And then it was art 1. So that's armour 1. Not going to be the best armour you can get. You mentioned that no probs, this is why we are here. Excellent. Excellent. Dave says, we mentioned that on the night the Kickstarter finished about throwing knives. Yes, that is right. Bows, crossbows were mentioned too. Yes, we're not having bows or crossbows in the game. I've explained numerous times why that is. It's just a ranged item. You need another person to take the hits while you're firing. Otherwise, it's not really feasible given the close quarters of the combat. Right, so we've got... what was I looking at there? Oh yes, armour. Random tables. Let's do it. Here we go. Armour 1. Here we go. Oh, that was a double 1 again. I blame Scott. So 1, a jerkin. Okay, we've got a jerkin on already. Oh no, we don't have a jerkin on. We're not going to put a jerkin on. We're going to put it in our items. Now, it is a heavy item. So that's going at the back. Not really much use. King Ku Japo, what's up? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Except there is an archery range in the room tables. Yes. And dare they use the bow against you, they will just get obliterated. And that's training for their army. So they're not actually firing in the dungeon. Thank you, Bob. They're raiding parties. Right. Okay, and then back to the table, the trap table, because unfortunately, if we go, have a quick check here, loot, lock up, roll on level 2 traps table after. Here we go. This is going to be interesting. Hi Declan, how you doing? The little dungeon delver. Can I have a big shield to hide behind, please? Dave, you know, when you're out at the market, there's plenty of big shields you can get your hands on. As long as you've got the cash, you'll be okay. Right, here we go. Level 2, 2d6. This is what we're at. 6. Gas pours from a vent. If you have under 5 large items, you can skirt under the cloud or take D3 HP. No time to drop stuff. How ironic is that? Look at that. So, right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. It's if you have under 5 items, you can skirt the... So I'm in the thing and I look up, suddenly gas is pouring out onto me and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this jerkin I just picked up, it weighs a ton. I can't quite get low enough and I take the damage. So I take D3 H points. 3. Okay, all right. So we take 3 damage here. So that takes me down to 25. Okay. Right, next time I'm definitely going to write out this sheet again. All right, so there you go. I managed to get to the edge of the room here. And let's have a look in the loot lockup. The the doors are reinforced doors. Okay, this is interesting here. Reinforced doors. I've got to check to see whether they're locked. Right, I'm intrigued to see what this room is down here. I haven't checked the updated rules for a while. Is it possible to escape from fights? No, Kinko Japo. It's just the forward momentum is maintained. You just have to keep fighting to the end. That is the nature of the dungeon. So I'm going to try this room down here. Now, in the new rules, in the latest update, I have put a little table in for doors. So those people have been... the play that goes wrong. This bit here. Well, you know, this is what I love. So in that fight, the first instance, I destroyed the mercenary and the guard. And now, you know, things aren't necessarily going my way. I've just been gassed. And I'm stuck in this room where the gas is filling up. And maybe you should add a little thing. If you're in a room with locked doors, you get an extra D3 damage. Again, difficult to put that rule in, but you know. Right, so we're going to try this door down here. So 4, 5, or 6 reinforced doors are locked. That is locked. Okay. Locked. I'm going to roll for its the value of that lock. Wow, it's an 11. Okay. So that is a pretty powerful, pretty solid lock. And then we've got one over here. Is it locked? It is locked. Okay. Put that there. So right little L next to the locked doors. So looking at this, now with a locked door, I've obviously got two. I've got oh yeah, I'll cross one of those lock picks off. I've got that. So I've got a lock pick left with 2 uses, okay? Because I used up one other lock pick that's broken and left behind. I have one lock pick left with 2 uses. It's +2. Now let's just roll for the strength of this lock. It's a 9. Okay, so that is a 9 lock door there. So 11 and a 9. Wow, that's pretty powerful. So I'm kind of like thinking to myself, maybe I will backtrack here. Now I can backtrack without any ill effects because I'm not soaked or anything like that. And I can backtrack to this section down here in the dungeon, past these rooms into this section, and leave these locked doors. So, because they're quite difficult to roll, those numbers, and I might want my lockpick to pick something else more important, like a prisoner cell or something. So I'm going to backtrack down to here, through this space. There's nothing that's going to stop me. The very nature of how the game's designed is there shouldn't be anything to stop me. So we'll backtrack down to there, and we're going to try this room out here. No, the lockpicks, you see here, lockpick +2 with the brackets 2. Okay, so you can use it twice, 2 uses. If you check the lockpick rules, you see that represents number of uses. So I've got one lockpick left with 2 uses left in that lockpick. So that's where we're at with that. Okay. So I'm going to backtrack down to here. Now this is an interesting space here. We've ended up with 2 exits that look like they're on the same wall, but they're not. That was a corridor with another exit. So we're going to go through here and roll for this space, which gives us a 5, 4. Which is fantastic because I can connect up these 2 rooms. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and bring it out here. We're going to have a room that fits into this space and already has 2 exits, or 1 exit, which leads back down to here. Now that's on the same side, but we'll still count it. Just a bit of an anomaly, and we'll see how many exits there are. There can be, let's have a look. There is 1 exit. Now, just for the sake of it, you can decide if you want to. I am going to put the exit here. Okay, so we've got a fairly decent sized room. Let's have a look and see what that room is. Level 2, Ancestry 44. Could there be a role for random encounters if you backtrack? Sort of a creature wandering through the dungeon. There could be, and we have talked about this, and there will be an optional rule that I will put in. But there... So the amount of creatures that I have is controllable to a certain extent. Yeah, it does. So the amount of creatures I have is controllable in the sense I kind of have an average number of creatures that appear in rooms. If you decide to start backtracking, okay, so you need to go back and forward and back, and say you do it 2 or 3 times, and in that time you manage to encounter, say, 4 or 5 more creatures, that's going to screw over the balance of the game. Okay, so based upon the testing and everything that's gone forward, we are in a situation where it looks like we're just about right on the balance. So if we added in this extra thing where people went back, they would encounter more patrols, then it could screw everything up, and we then, in a sense, the game is very difficult to manage because it becomes even more random then. And it also disrupts the kind of forward momentum and the quickness of the game. So if we're backtracking and we've got more fights backtracking, that then drags that out as well. So there's lots of reasons why I haven't done it. And it's not that I haven't thought about it, but taking all that into consideration, I'd rather just move through the dungeon more quickly, encountering these spaces and excitement, rather than dwelling on rooms we've already experienced, if you see what I'm saying. And then you would have to track which rooms you were going through, and that would then also have problems. There are lots of problems I can conceive with it. 1 out of 6, if any, to keep it rare. Well, you say that, but then there are dungeons with lots of rooms, and that might be, you might then encounter 2 patrols on the way back and destroy everything. Sounds like a plan. You've basically cleared the dungeon as you pass through. Yes, Dave. That's basically where we're at. And now you can interpret this differently. By all means, if you want to do that, throw that rule in yourself and see how you cope with it. You know, and as I say, I'm going to put it as an optional rule, backtracking. It's just a gut feeling I have with how the balance is at the moment, that adding something like that could be detrimental. That's my reasoning. And I know that everybody's like, well, maybe you could. I know, possibly, but it could also mess things up a bit. So I've got to be a little bit careful. Okay, completely lost my space. What did I roll? Did I roll anything? It also unfairly penalises larger maps. That is abstract. That is welcome abstract. That is a very good point. The forward momentum is a good guideline. I think so, Lars. I think so. It makes it fun. I want it to be fun, enjoyable, you know. Yeah. So well, come on then. I went on a rant then. What was I? Where was I up to? Had I rolled for the room? Did I roll? I don't think I did. Okay, let's do it. Let's roll. 44. Did I roll for the room? Dave says no. Abstract says 44. There is 44 on the dice here. Any other people spot that? You rolled room and exit. Did I roll that room? Was it 44 then? Was that? Yes, 44. Okay, right, good. Okay, good. So, 44. Holy Cell. Okay, interesting. 44. Holy Cell. Holy moly. Holy Cell. Squeeze it in there. Nice. All right. So, one of the things that I have to think about when I'm writing the room descriptions is I want to try and kind of sum up a flavour or an atmosphere. I'm trying to do that all the time and trying to make things kind of unique and exciting. So one of the things is drawing on that kind of the God side of it, and the kind of there's a darker side to it. Okay, so bear that in mind. Holy Cell. Hanging in a cage is a blind man. He holds out a hand for his God and whispers to you. Roll on Got 1 to establish the God. You can give him a correct offering to gain 1 favour point. Okay, cool. So is this guy hanging in a cell. Gonna like draw a rough cell here. And he's been blinded, but they consider he's holy, and they won't kill him. He's a holy man. Not having a great time of it though, it would seem. You might need that cross, you see. No kidding. Right, let's find out who is this person's God. This poor old guy. Here it is. All right, got 1. So who is it? Because I do have some ticks here. 4. Muratani. Okay, so it's Muratani. Now, I have 1 tick. So this is the favour of the gods here. I've got some favour points already, so I've been working my way up a little bit. So Muratani is the hardest one to say. Here he is. He's a beast. Okay, so he needs blood, meat, leather, horn, dragon scales, or rubies. Okay, so these 4 up here are kind of standard. Now, I do have some leather. I'm pretty sure of that. Let's have a look here. Who suggested that little patch of leather earlier on? That was a really good suggestion. Leather from the pouch. Lars, you said it. Right, so we're going to do that. We're going to rub that off. So I pull out of the leather, and the man he's whispering to me, and I place in his hand the leather, and he immediately clutches it and drags it in and holds it to his chest and shrinks back into the cell and rubs the leather on his face, and you can hear there's some kind of energy coming, and you feel it rush through your body. +1 to your Muratani influence. He's pleased by your offering. Okay, brilliant. That worked a treat. Okie dokie. Let's keep that close. So that was the dark cell. That's the holy cell. That really is that's a kind of non-combat situation. It's nice to not fight sometimes in rooms. I'm trying to add a mix of events and occurrences that kind of add a bit of atmosphere. So there's that old guy. So let me just check the doors for the cell. Archways. Excellent. And that is unique. So there's not another holy man like that in the dungeon. So I've got an archway there. Excellent. Right, so we've got an exit here. I used an old pair of boots on Sunday, lol. I use I used an old pair of boots on Sunday. Is that a leather reference? Some rooms are unique. Some can appear more than once. That is very true. Oops, shouldn't have destroyed that. Yep, for the leather. Good call. Bear with me one sec. Won't be a sec. Right. So we're going to go out this exit here. Let's roll for this. 6 by 2. Right, fascinating. So I was wondering whether these two would meet up, but they're not destined to. So we've got 6, 2 up and 6 across. It's a long, wide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Like that. How many exits does it have? Have you noticed I have not rolled a dead end in any of the rooms so far? 1 exit. Those are no for yes for the leather. So which is it on? So 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's up here, so it leads away. Okay, interesting. These this could be, if that was a big room there and all these exits kind of met up there, that would be fascinating. Okay, so we need to roll for the room. Ooh, double 1. Empty space. This room is bare and seems to have been cleared out or forgotten about. There is nothing in this space. There are not many empty spaces on this level of the dungeon. Let's just put it here. Okay. All right. So we're going to go up this way. It's an archway. Just check. Ah, no, it's random. No, sorry. Yeah, archways. And we're going to go up through this space here. 5 by 3. Okay, so we are, I'm thinking this space here. I'm going to try and shift this over. So I'm going to have it to one side. Go 1, 2, 3. That's up. And then 5 this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right. So let's have a look how many exits. 4, so 2 exits. We could have 1 this side, 1 there, and 1 this side. In fact, all sides. Let's do this. 4. We got 2. Let's see where it starts at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So there is 1 here. So we'll put that 1 there. And then we're going to put 1 in the corner here. So this space here could be a room in there. That's fascinating. Right. I love the way how these maps grow, you know, and you kind of, the options start to sort of click together. Right, let's have a look at this space. How many times have I rolled snake eyes this evening? I've never known it to be like that. Let's have a look. Level 2. 21. Nearly. Scribe's room. Okay. Let's get this right. So, have we had a scribe's room before? Dark chamber. Scribe's room over here. Okay, so scribe's room is unique. So we cannot have a scribe's room here. So that means, at that point, we roll again. So let's do it. 15. All right, so what have we got for that? 15. Storage area. The walls are lined with shelves which are full of boxes and crates. There is also a sack. Roll a d6. 1 to 3 equals a random patrol comes by. Roll on L2P. If you survive, roll on TCT1 plus 2. So that is a treasure table. So 1 to 3, a patrol comes. Let's have a look, shall we? And we get a 4, so no patrol comes. Let's just do a little bit of drawing here. We've got some shelves going in. And we'll put some boxes on these. Maybe a sack here. Little sack. Okay, it's a quick drawing. Like so. And the storage area, well, it wasn't snake eyes at least. So you get a unique room. It's straight reroll. Cool, yes, that is correct. Straight reroll. So storage area. The patrol did not come by, which is kind of good in the way. The exits are random. Okay, so let's roll on exit table 2. We get 16, which is portcullises. Okay, so the exits are portcullises. Wow, I get a real feeling this room here, this space, is something about it that is stopping me from getting into it. Maybe this is the throne room in there. Right, portcullises. Blimey, O'Reilly. Okay, so Toby, Declan wants you to know he got top marks on his school report card. Excellent, Declan. That is fantastic. Well done. So I guess you've been working really hard on your homework then, haven't you? Your home study. And what's your favourite subject, Declan? Let me know. That I'd like to know. So we have portcullises. So let me just refresh my mind here on what portcullises. Portcullises are always down when you encounter, unless the text states otherwise. A lever, he says, science immediately. Brilliant. That is excellent. I'm fascinated with science. I particularly like astronomy, and I like biology as well. I did biology A level at school. So yeah, up the sciences. Good work. I'm so excited for the day while I had the book of this game in my hands. Also with the printed cards. I love this idea so much. Nasu Naxis, thank you for your kind comment. I do appreciate that. He enjoys chemistry. Wow. Keep that up, Nick. You'll have a good career path. Right. I was never any good at chemistry. That is only clever people are good at chemistry. Okay, portcullis. A lever must be found to open them. Sometimes these are concealed or on the other side of the portcullis. Roll on the table, portcullis lever table 1. If you have to face an enemy, roll on the patrol table for that level. Once they have been dealt with, you see that the portcullis has been lifted up. All portcullises are open in the room when a lever is pulled. Okay, so portcullises are a little bit more complicated. You've got to roll for... Sorry, misspelled a bit. My English lacks some sense sometimes. That's fine. German flaws, you know. No. Don't worry about it. Okay. So the portcullis table is not one that we roll on very often. It's up at the top, I believe. Let me just check. Portcullis lever table number 11. Here we go. Right, so this is the first time that we've done this. So I've seen the portcullises. There's no patrol. Let's roll this. You have a look around for a lever or a lever. 11. As you approach the portcullis, it flies open and you must face an enemy. Roll on the patrol table for the level, e.g. LP1. So it goes, that noise that the portcullises make. And there, standing in the doorway, is a guard. Okay, so we've got to face we're going to roll on the patrol table for that level. Let's do that. Yes, I can't wait to have it in my hand, Nastu, as well. It's going to be stunning. But just playing it at the moment is fun. There's so much to come. There's so much to come. All right, patrol table for this level. Level 2 patrol. Here we go. 2, a guard. Okay, what are you doing here? He shouts as the portcullis rises, and I've come here to destroy you. Right, here's the guard. And we have got the little platform. There it is. Guard, and he's not going to pose much, or she's not going to pose much threat to Arundel Knox, he says. Right, round 1. Let's do this. Let's put a guard in here. So we'll say all portcullises open when you pull a lever. That's what it says in the book. So we will go with this one here. So we'll say it's here, but we'll write him in. Say we're going that way. And I roll a 2, 4. I can't quite shift that to the pommel, unfortunately, or the drubbing. Okay, so I miss on the first go. You might have jinxed it. My sense of humour. I've come for your grey poupon, lol. I don't know what you throw these things at me. 5, 6. Note, the guard cannot shift to that particular situation. Right, here we go. 5, 2. Now, as it happens, I can shift to the pummel. Yes, you're right, Lars. I may well have. Pummel, so it's to 4 and to 3 using 2 shift points. This is D6 minus 2 damage. Now, the guard has a very useful shield, which minuses another damage. So it's D6 minus 3 on the pummel. Okay, so that is D6 minus 3. That's 1 damage to the guard, which had 7 health points. And we shall deduct that to make it 6. And then they will have their swing on round 2. 6, 3, which they can shift to their swipe, which is D6 minus 2. That is a primary 6 and a secondary 2. I can minus 2 damage for my leather braces. Oh, minus 2. So it's D6 minus 4. And that's a 2, and that does no damage. You see, this is a level 1 character, and my character's level 3. So I'm much stronger, much tougher, and more equipped as a consequence. So this really should not pose any threat to me, really. Round 3. 5, 2. 5, 2. I can shift to the pommel again, which brings it up to the 3. 4, 3, and it's the same again, minus 3 damage. So that's another point of damage to the guard. The guard gets to swing. 5, 4, and they can shift to their stab, which is 3, and I can block for using my leather braces again. I can block for 2 damage. If it ever gets a 2-player rules expansion, that would be amazing. Not gonna lie, I know, Nasu, I've had like 30 people ask me about this. I will be looking at doing that. It is primarily a solo player game, but don't get me wrong, I do understand that, you know, couples like to play games like this together, and I will look at doing it. I did it for Rad Zone, Totality. I don't see why you can't do it for this. It will feature in a later expansion. So, yeah, that's where we're at with it. All right. So they've stabbed. D6 minus 5. I've got 6 to damage me. No damage. Very difficult to damage me. And my hit on the next round is 3, 6. And that is with a +4. +1, sorry. So I can't shift to any of that. That is a bad result for me. He gets a 1, 2. Cannot shift to that. My go. 2, 5. I can +4. Wow. +4. I can do 2 on there and 2 on there, which makes it a 3 and a 4. And then we get a damage. 1 point of damage. Chipping away at him. 4. And their attack. 6/6 prime attack. Okay, they produce with an unexpected move. The guard disarms you. Lose 1 turn as you grab it back up off the ground. Okay, so goes to round. Sorry, that was round 5. Goes to round 6, and I miss my turn, and he gets another turn. 6/3, and he can shift to a swipe, which does -4, 2 damage to me. And you see, what this proves is that even the weaker characters can chip away at you, and that has a long-term effect. One person is a dungeon master, every other player is a dungeoneer. Yeah, couples, exactly. It is. I know it's a serious thing. You can, as Dave suggests, you could do like a dungeon master player type scenario. One plays the enemy, and you play your character. I mean, that actually seems to be a perfectly logical way of doing it. Good call, Dave. I mean, obviously this has come up in discussion before, but it seems to be a logical way of doing it, isn't it? For 1, I can. So I've got +5. I can do 3 on there and 2 on there to make it a drubbing. D6 +1. Blocks on. It doesn't do any block for this one. So it's D6 +1. 5 points of damage, and that kills the guard. Basically, I was waiting for my better attack to pop up to finish him off. We did that. It actually works. Brilliant. I mean, if it's that straightforward, then maybe I could just put a comment in the end of the book. If you want to play it 2-player, 1 play the... that makes it perfectly sensible. Non-involved solution. Just making a note of it here. Perfect. Actually, Nasu, if you've got any feedback on that, just if you want to email it to me at toby@drgames.co.uk. DR Games as in Dark Realm Games, DR Games, and then just send that through to me. It'd be interesting to read how that went for you, because and if there's anything that sort of sprung up that you thought would be a problem, or something that worked really well, or anything, any sort of feedback would be really cool. We also put a small sense of D&D stories telling into it, made the game a bit slower, but was wonderful way of doing so. Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah, increasing the narrative. Man, I'm all about narrative. Okay, so that is dead. She's dead. I have got some XP from that one, which takes me up to 658. And I get to roll to see what's in this guard's pouch. Oh, good. When I asked if late pledge is possible since no credit card here. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Send that through. I'd be interested to get this kind of like a little situational thing from you, if you don't mind. Right. So pouch. Let's do that. In the loot section. There we go. Pouch 1 minus 1. So we've got 5. There are some dried pumpkin seeds in the pouch. Dried pumpkin seeds. All right. Okay, I put that on my equipment list there. Brilliant. Right. Good stuff. Okay, right, well, it's coming on really nicely. I think what we're going to do is leave it there. It's our usual 2 hours. I know it flies by. I say this every week. I do kind of look for another time to do some of this, but we've sustained the adventure. We've kept Arundel Knox going. He's in a situation where, in fact, I can use when we get more game experience. Okay, that would be really handy, Nasu. Thank you. So he does have a healing potion, which we're going to use. So I'm going to use a healing potion now where we're in this space here. We killed the guard. The portcullis is open. And I'm going to use the healing potion to take our guy back up. I'm going to keep the potion bottle as well. Use the healing potion back up to 30. There's some history in this character sheet. So back up to 30. There. We've got the potion bottle. I'm going to make a note of that on here. And we're nearly ready to create the shrapnel burst as well. The minute we come across something with some water, which we haven't done so far. And it makes me think water encounters. So like on the level, because water's vital for washing, blooded status, for making potion bombs. So maybe I need to make sure that there's more of that available in the dungeon. We still have another potion of healing. We've got potion of consistency. I'm going to take that at the beginning of the next level when we go down to level 3. And we are 350 points away from the next level. And we still got that scroll of swamp lung as well. We mustn't forget. That's pretty powerful. Just want to check here. 2 rations left. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. And if we look at the map, we've got we've got this section here, and I might do this as well. This here isn't. I don't need to explore this area of the dungeon because that is a space that can be left, because we've got the rest of the dungeon here, and one of these rooms is going to be the throne room. So that's going to be next week, for definitely on the Tuesday. If we don't do some stuff before then, the gold star this evening. Well, that could give out a few actually. Nasu for his suggestion, the DM suggestion. I think that's a brilliant thing. But I think we should also give a little shout out to Scott, who appeared on the channel. I don't know whether he's fallen asleep. It's 3:30 a.m. over there, Scott. Well done for making it. I think that is a valiant effort. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to see you next week, guys. Now, just before I go, I will say that I am going to be releasing 0.99 version of the rules in hopefully just a few days now, and that is going to include the potion bombs and some of the other bits and pieces. So that's going to be basically it, as far as I can see, for new rules. We've had lots of sessions, we had lots of discussions. I think that will be the nailed on set of rules. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of room for corrections and whatnot, but really our focus will then turn to the codex tables. I want to be able to focus on writing those. I've nearly done level 3, and then I've got to see how quickly I can do level 4 and 5 and push on and try and get these done as quickly as I can. So we've got this product in our hand ASAP. I'll be sending the play testers level 3 in the next few days. I've got Clive. I'm sending over some text to him, and then he's going to do his thing with it, and then that's going to go to testers, and all the testers will point out errors and any other thing that the continuity. So we've got a process. We're going to work through this as fast as we can, and with your help, guys, we can do this. We'll get it out there, and we'll be delving deeper into the dungeon than you can even imagine. Dave says, I may be on shift, so may not be here next week. Sorry. Have a good evening, everybody. I'm going back to painting adventurers, Thrud the Barbarian, and Lone Wolf. Wow. Brilliant. Well, that sounds exciting. Okay, guys, you are awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Bob, and all the regulars, Brian and Vincent, and all you guys for being here and making these sessions fun, because you really help me. And Todd, thank you. And I will see you all very soon. Take care. Have a great week. And let's push on with this. Don't forget, leave your adventures at the Facebook page. I look forward to reading them.